Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more hot Empire action in Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer. We're going to be taking actually the Midland faction, as you can see from the blue pajamas here. We've got this here Sunmaker just about ready to open up shots on the Filthy Ratmen over the hill. So let's quickly get to the builds. Boris Todbringer, of course, going to be leading the forces of Midland. We've also got a Bright Wizard, nice Mess Estate troops, whole bunch of Spearmen, Swordsmen, and 4 units of Empire Knights as well. So a huge, wide Empire build to take on the Ratty Boys. Of course, we've got 2 Pistoliers as well. For my opponent, he's got a Gracier Lore of Plague up on the Bell. Lots of Rat Ogres, tons and tons of Slaves, 2 units of Plague Monk Censer Bears as well, which is a very interesting choice. 2 Hell Pit Abominations. We've also got 2 units of Rat Ogres and an additional Plague Priest. So without further ado, let's get the rockets underway. You can see the Plague Monk Censer Bear is already getting lit up by that rocket battery. We'd also dropped a fireball on the Hell Pit Abomination. Of course, the Sunmaker does do fire damage, so the Kindle Flame map wide, not going to do a whole lot because it already does so much missile damage, but it will do something. This Hell Pit Abomination is going to be sent after the Pistoliers. I do have them in skirmish mode, so not necessarily going to be able to catch them, and they will do excellent, excellent cost-effective work in damaging this Hell Pit Abomination, so that's a very favorable situation for me. The other Hell Pit is just going to charge straight through, get on these Swordsmen here, which is unfortunate for me, but these Rat Ogres here, going to get charged out by the Empire Knights, and holy cow, those blue lances are super intense, man. That's like almost hard to look at. Boris is going to drop down with a quick tear route and all this support. Rat Ogres really can't stand up to high charge units because they don't have the best melee defense or armor. Even Empire Knights with their 48 charge bonus can do some good work. Meanwhile, on the front line, State Troops holding the line against the massive Rat Horde. Obviously, the Censer Bears are going to be a major issue because of their contaminated effect, and that will layer with the leadership debuff from the Bell, and it's going to be pretty brutal in general. Another fireball hits that Hell Pit Abomination. We're going to keep dropping those fireballs as much as possible. The Sunmaker having a little bit of line of sight issues here, but we're going to open up on this other unit of Plague Monk Censer Bears, hopefully, before it gets compromised too hard. These Pistoliers had been caught eventually. This is one of the dangers of leaving them on skirmish mode. If they come into some terrain that blocks their advance, they could potentially get caught. They did get caught by their Hell Pit, but likewise, this other unit of Pistoliers just did a ton of damage to those Rat Ogres. They're now pulling back, and yeah, so far so good. These units over on the far side cleaning up some additional Skaven slaves. Boris just chasing those Rat Ogres for the time being, but I'm going to bring him back in just a moment. We're also going to activate this other reserve of 2 more Empire Knights. They're going to be coming in here in just a moment, trying to hold back the tide. You can see my opponent's done a pretty good job pushing through the front line. I'm going to rip through a brutal Burning Head, though, just roasting out this entire line of Skaven, doing a ton of damage, not only to the Clan Rats, but these very expensive Censer Bears as well. So that's really good value for me. Looks like Dreaded 13th, summoning some Storm Vermin. The explosion does a ton of damage to those Swordsmen, and then obviously the Storm Vermin are going to be able to help protect the Hell Pit from things like these Empire Knights, for example. Hold back the Hellstorm just a little bit, try and get some more rockets off, so you can see they're going to be firing onto the top of the hill there. Another fireball on the old Hell Pit there. Come on, boys, let's see some shots. There we go. Point blank into the big old blob of rats on the hill. Probably a little bit of friendly fire there as well, but yeah, man, that Hellstorm, it's tough, it's expensive, it's tough to really make it pay off, and I don't think it's necessarily going to pay off in this battle, but it's certainly fun to watch it blow up some rats, right? Oh man, those Storm Vermin going after the Empire Knights, which had just collapsed from multiple directions on those Plague Monk Censer Bears. This Hell Pit Abomination a little bit isolated in the back line. This other Hell Pit Abomination did manage to come back from its Wild Goose Chase and is now taking out the Sunmaker here. The Empire Knight's going to charge in, try and take out these Rat Ogres, and the Pistoliers providing Overwatch fire against the Hell Pit Abomination here is going to be very effective. You can see it actually is blowing up the artillery pieces, so doubtful that we are going to be able to get that back, but we'll probably be able to finish this thing off at the very least. You can see with the Censer Bears coming through with their heavy armor-piercing weapon strength, I do try and pull back the Empire Knights as much as possible. Boris comes down to try and do some damage to the Grace here, but we've still got the Summoned Storm Vermin on station, so it's not going to be the best. The other Empire Knights, which had been dealing with this pocket of troops over here, is now returning to the battlefield as well, so they'll be able to start getting some charges. Balance of power, though, not looking great for me at the moment. We've lost a few expensive units. My opponent has as well. You can see this Hell Pit is getting pretty close to going down. but he's still got plenty of powerful units still online, so it's going to be anyone's game at this point. If we can take down this Hell Pit, though, that will definitely be a step in the right direction. You can see those Empire Knights weren't quite able to disengage very well. A little bit unfortunate situation there, but Boris pulls out. We're also going to pull out these Empire Knights before those summoned Skaven can really bog them down, so... just got to stay on the move as much as possible because I have a significantly more mobile army. You can see I'm not really committing my melee infantry, mostly just kind of standing them around in a reserve position so that as my opponent pushes forward, if I need to, I can throw them in. But for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and pull back the Pistoliers one more time, and beautiful charge by the Empire Knights just ripping through those Ratmen. That's what everyone wants to see right there, right? Steel-tipped lances, just lancing them right in the face. And then the Pistoliers, out of ammo, are also going to charge in. You know, they don't want the Empire Knights to get all the glory, right? And the Fireball comes in, actually finishes off the Hell Pit Abomination from the Bright Wizard there. So a nice snipe. One big monster down, 2 more to go. And most of the supporting Skaven infantry is also offline. You can see these clan rats, they do have charge defense against large, obviously, but when they're not braced, that's not going to help, and those Empire Knights will be able to just clean them up, no problem. Empire Knights are just such a cost-effective unit of shock cavalry. Generally, right now, it's interesting. The meta originally favored Reichsguard, I feel like, but now, just because in most matchups, you're going to want to go as wide as possible. Low-tier shock cavalry, things like... Knights Errant and these Empire Knights obviously are just super cost effective. I would say Empire Knights are probably one of the most cost effective shock cavalry units in the game. They're certainly not going to win you the game by themselves, but they just, for the amount of work they can do, they're cheap, they're tanky, 120 armor, only 850 points, so you can bring quite a few of them. You can see they're going to be finishing off those Censer Bears there. Meanwhile, over here, we do have some tattered Empire Knights still holding out against these Censer Bears, and likewise, we've got this Hell Pit here. Looks like another Fireball going to be going in. Does some good damage. And likewise, these Pistoliers still have a tiny bit of ammo left that they can use. But things are still very even at this point. If we can clean up the Skaven supporting infantry, I'm pretty confident in Boris's ability to take out this Hell Pit with support. But it's a matter of if we can hold our leadership together. Because you can see the terror is becoming a pretty big issue for the Empire forces here. The Hell Pit Abomination obviously very, very spooky. But... can see the support getting very, very thin. There's not a whole lot of clan rats left. There are still a few Censer Bears here. But yeah, at that point, my opponent, I'm not sure if he crashed or if he Alt F4'd. After checking, you know, the leaderboard after the fact, it did give me the points as if I had won the match. So I'm not trying to, you know, denigrate my opponent or anything, but he might have Alt F4'd. In any case, I'm pretty confident I was going to be able to win that, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to see the end of the battle, but let's just pretend that I win, since I got the points for winning anyway, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at the final breakdown here. You can see from my opponent, yeah, the Hell Pits ended up being a little bit of a rough choice. I'm not the biggest fan of Hell Pits here because the Empire has really good missile play, and Pistoliers in particular are just such a menace in this matchup. They can do really good work against Hell Pits, Rat Ogres. They're just such a useful unit in this matchup. I'm not the biggest fan here. One of them was able to do some good work, pick up an XP Chevron, but it was a little bit rough. The Censer Bears, though, might have to play around with these guys a little bit more. 125 kills, 59. Granted, they are very squishy for how expensive they are, but they did some okay work. In terms of my army here, you can see the Swordsmen, one of them did okay, the others kind of got run over. 128 kills on Spearmen's not bad, they must have got a hold of some slaves somewhere, but Boris, obviously, with the Terror, helping support some different engagements, 74 kills on the Bright Wizard from that Burning Head, and of course the key Fireballs helping to take down the Hell Pit Abominations. And yeah, the Hellstorm ended up with 58 kills at the end of the day. Obviously, you want a little bit more than that, but I brought this army fully knowing, like, okay, this army's pretty decent, except the Sunmaker is more of a fun pick. It's not ever going to be super competitive, I don't think, but certainly a lot of fun here, I would say. Pistoliers also did their role as well. So, yeah, fun battle. Well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. As far as the matchup goes, it's certainly one that can go a number of different ways. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the Hell Pits here. I think if my opponent were just to have gone a little bit wider, maybe bring some Halberd Vermin, maybe some Warp Lightning Cannons, or, Sword and Board Vermin as well can also be pretty good in this matchup. So if we go ahead and have a look here, yeah, so Storm Vermin with Halberds could be decent here. Storm Vermin with Sword and Shield could be decent here. You know, you could, they're 1100 points, so you could swap that out for 2 Warp Lightning Cannons as well. Obviously, these are going to be excellent against enemy heavy cavalry. They'll do great at shooting at like monsters, like Boris on the Griffin, for example. So definitely some give and take, but it is an interesting matchup. I do think it's somewhat in the Empire's favor, just because the Skaven are in a bit of a rough place right now. But that's not to say that they can't win. They certainly can. It's just a bit tough. But yeah, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, feel free to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.